So you've heard of fiber, but what exactly is it and why is it so important to our health? So joining us with more, we have 22 News registered dietitian Nancy Dell. Hello, Nancy Dell.
Hello, Seth.
Now, if people out there aren't 100% sure, what exactly is fiber?
Fiber is the part of food that does not get digested. So literally, it goes in one end and out the other, and along the way, it does a lot of good stuff, which we'll talk about. And the average person needs to get between 20 and 30 grams of fiber. There are studies to show up to 40 grams may actually be beneficial. On average, people get about half that, about 15 grams. So you really need to bulk it up. On
the whole, the country has a fiber problem, and we need to have more of it in our diet. So how do we get some in our diets?
Okay, so we get them mainly from our fruits and vegetables. But first, really, we should probably look at why it's important to have more fiber, so people are motivated to eat those fruits and vegetables.
Let's get people excited about more fiber out there. So how do we, why is it so important?
Okay, so there's so many reasons why. First, controlling blood sugar. So some fibers, when you eat them, make a gel-like substance, and that gel-like substance slows your digestion. When you slow digestion, your blood sugar is not going to spike. It's going to be a slow, gradual peak instead. So it's good for diabetics, but it's good for everybody because it keeps you fuller longer, too. So
and
it's really
it gets
good
you
for
fuller
blood sugar.
faster, seemingly, too, if it's gelling up. Great. Now, what else can it do for you?
Okay, so it's very good for your heart. People who eat more fiber have fewer heart attacks and fewer strokes. So from a heart attack point of view, you have about 40% less risk of a heart attack when you have a high fiber diet. And from a stroke point of view, which is really a heart attack in the brain, for every 7 grams of fiber, you have a 7% lower risk of a stroke.
Really?
So if you can get, say, 28 grams of fiber, you know, you're reducing your risk of a stroke 28%.
I'm sold. All right, let's get more fiber in my diet, because I think a lot of people think that carbs and fiber are one and the same, too. But as we can see here, you're getting sources of fiber in a whole lot of different ways.
Right. So there are, fiber is really a type of carbohydrate. But I have other things I want to tell you about the benefits.
Tell away, Nance.
So your skin, very important for your skin, because fiber can actually pull fungus and yeast out of your GI instead of having it go out through the skin, which can cause some acne or psoriasis or eczema type problems. So you want to get enough fiber for that. Weight management, if it's slowing digestion, you're full longer. Plus, fiber pulls estrogens, excess estrogens out of your body. So what's that all mean? So we get too much estrogen in our body from the hormones that they're giving cows, and it ends up in our milk, it ends up in our meat. So we have excess estrogen, which makes more fat cells. If we can pull that excess out, it's going to help with weight management as well. And of course, all the GI benefits. You know, hemorrhoids, diverticulosis, your irritable bowel syndrome, you know, it just keeps that all nice and clean. It's like the Roto-Rooter of your intestines, you know, so multiple.
I'm in. So are there any more health benefits, or should we talk about now?
I think we got them all.
Because that, here's
I think
the thing.
we did.
And if you're not excited about fiber yet, you're nuts.
I did forget one.
You did? Tell me.
I have them right here to remind me. We feed our probiotics with fiber. So remember, we've talked about probiotics before. They're the healthy bacteria that live in our GI, and we need to feed them. And they eat the fiber from fruits and vegetables mainly, and from some grains as well. So we need to feed them well.
Now, people at home aren't excited about a high fiber diet now. They're crazy. So let's find out different ways that we can get fiber into our systems. Okay,
so we're looking for about 40 grams. For most people, it's going to be your fiber from your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts, your seeds. These are all your legumes. These are all your main good sources of fiber. But you have some of your grains too. Your 100% whole grains will be good as well. Now, not everybody wants to increase their fiber if they're having some GI distress. So if you're already having like bloating, gas, diarrhea, you probably have too much bad bacteria in your GI. So you want to start out on a low fiber diet, and then eat lots of high probiotic foods like your yogurt and your kefir, your fermented vegetables, your kombucha tea. Eat these. Then gradually increase your fiber, because the low fiber, you've killed off the bad bacteria. Added in the good, gradually increase your fiber, and now you're feeding the good, and everything should work well, and you should have great, you know, GI and all the other health benefits too.
And this is something too that people are watching the show and they're saying to themselves, well, I'm really going to up my fiber intake. It might be smart too to talk to a nutritionist, someone like you first, just to make sure you're doing everything in the right way.
Well, of course, I always think that's a good idea, too.
Everybody should go to Nancy Dell, always.
Okay.
Now, over here, I see a lot of the things that seem like value-added products, like fiber-added products.
All right, so all fibers are not created equal. I kind of put them in 3 categories.
Okay.
You have the intact fiber, the way you find it in Mother Nature with your fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and legumes.
That's the most natural way to get it.
Right, and your brown rice would count in there too. And then you have the next level where it's naturally occurring fiber, but it's a little processed, like 100% stone ground whole wheat bread, 100% whole wheat pasta, but it's a little bit processed. And then you have the added fibers, okay? The added fibers, studies have shown, don't have a great benefit. When you take something like an artificial sweetener and you throw fiber in there and you say, oh, it has 2 grams of fiber, or you make a bread and it has 10 grams of fiber, you know, it's all added, that fiber's been ground up too tiny and it doesn't have the health benefits of fiber that is intact, which is your best, or at least naturally occurring. So you can't just read the fiber on the label and say, oh, look at 9 grams of fiber. You have to look at the ingredients and see, where is it coming from? Is it just a pasta that's 100% whole wheat, or is it white pasta with fiber added? So, you know, check your cereals, your pasta, your bread, all those processed foods to see what's there.
Now, Nancy, we're out of time, but real quick, if people are looking and they're saying, okay, I need to get to this 40-gram or so level a day, what's the best way to go about it? Should we just be poring over these nutrition labels, or are there better ways to go about it?
Well, the label's not your best indicator just because of the added fiber. You can use it as a guide. I'd go online, get a list of the fiber content of foods. I can actually give you one you can put on, you know, massappeal.com.
There it is, great.
And, you know, look at how much are in your legumes, your vegetables, and things like that. You probably need to get 4 cups of vegetables a day, a couple fruits, eat some nuts and legumes every day.
Perfect. So then, you know, I think when people start looking at their diet a little bit more closely, it's easy. It's not like we say all these numbers and it seems difficult, but I think it's easier if we just take a good hard look at what we're eating. Nancy, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Registered dietitian Nancy Dellen. If you want to learn more about the benefits of fiber, visit us online, mymassappeal.com, a little bit later today.